All right, this is a video that I'm going to do today. It's a little bit different. This is about joining a league. Leagues are extremely popular right now. I see a lot of stuff on some of the Facebook groups I'm in about people recruiting for a league, people wanting to join a league, and there's a lot that goes into running a league and picking the right league for you. And I also see a lot of posts on some of these groups where there is controversy among the league. Somebody's unhappy with something that went on, and somebody's either trashing the league, or some league is saying, don't let this guy in. He'll be a bad apple in your league. So I thought I would put some stuff out and kind of try to say this is stuff you need to look for in a league. And if you are running a league, it might be useful, but more than anything, it's probably to help people who are looking to join a league and helping them pick the right league. So, first off, and this is nothing earth shattering, find out the basics. Know the league you're getting into and just learn the basics. When do they race? So, usually leagues race on a specific day and time, or sometimes they run multiple nights a week, but make sure that that fits in with your schedule, with everything else you got going on in life, whether it is family commitments, work, or something else. Find out the length. Some people run 50%, some people run 100%. Are stages on or off? What is their policy on cautions? Do they run presets or presets slash sliders, or is it custom setups? You need to know all these things to figure out what you're getting into, and everybody has different preferences, and kind of figure out based on these basics. That's like the first step is, does this match up with what you're looking for and how you want to race? If you don't know a thing about custom setups, you don't want to get into a custom setup league, and unless part of what they do is teach you about custom setups. Um, so, if you don't like long races, don't join a league that runs 100%. But this is just finding out the basics. The next thing are things to look out for, and uh, this is just stuff to kind of help you idea what there's going on too. And it's probably the single most important thing I would tell you is ask about what the tryout process is. Everybody complains about going into an online lobby where anybody can join it, and you got people out there that has short tempers, and people that wreck others, and people that race dirty, etc. Well, guess what? If you're joining a league that has no tryout process, the same people that can join a public lobby and do those things can join a league. If there is not a vetting process to find out what kind of a racer somebody is, and it's just open to anybody that wants to join, you're bound to have a few bad apples in that group. So, and again, if I was giving advice to anybody on running a league, the number one thing I would do is tell you is have a very strict tryout process. And if you are a racer that think, man, I am a great racer, I shouldn't have to go through a tryout process, you should put your ego aside and be glad that there's a tryout process. Know that if you're a good racer, you'll get in fine, not a problem. But that process is going to weed out a lot of the problem people that will be in the league. So find out if there is a tryout process and what it's like. If there is no tryout process at all, that would be a red flag to me, to be honest. So tryout process is a big thing. Unless it is a league of guys that you already know or are just hand picked because they have raced with other people before. That's the only reason I would see there not to be a tryout process, is if somebody's just hand picking from people they know they've raced with. Second thing to look for, is the league ran by one person or a group? Running a league is a lot of work. There's a lot that goes into it. It takes a time commitment. It takes a varying skills. If you've got one person running it, I don't think that's a very good model. One, because there is so much stuff to do. It puts a huge burden on the one person that's running it. And second, know that if you've got one person running it and it is their own league, you've kind of got a dictator model there where everything they say goes, that they are judge, jury, and executioner. They can make changes to anything. They can interpret rules any way they want. If it is one person running it, know that you've got the chance of being in a situation where you're dealing with a dictator. So I am a bitch bigger fan of having something where there might be one person who is the league owner, but he's got a group of admins that help him run it, and preferably look for a group that has well-defined admin responsibilities so everybody kind of knows what they're in charge of and what their area of expertise is. Um, Next is, does the league have a good or bad reputation in the community? Do you know people that race there? Do you see Facebook posts about it? Are they good or bad? What do people around there think about the league? So every league's going to have a reputation. Some are better known than others, but find out kind of what's the reputation of this league like before you go jumping into it. Number three, I would ask, how organized is the league? And I'm not saying they have to have all these things. I'm just saying these are indications of how organized they are. Do they have a Facebook page, and what kind of stuff do they post on the Facebook page? Do they use Discord or some other similar app as a means of everything from communicating stuff about the schedules, the rules, the guidelines, to changes in schedules or events, etc. Do they have a set schedule, a point system, a playoff format? Um, do they have a good mechanism for communicating to members in the league? So uh, these are all things that you don't have to have all of these things, but if I was looking at a league and they had none of this stuff, I would be very skeptical as to exactly how organized the league is, and it would be a big question mark to me as whether it's one that I wanted to join or not. But a league that is more organized is going to have things kind of running in a smoother fashion, and the more organized you are, you generally have less conflict and less drama. But those are some things that I would look for as how organized the league is. Um, Number four, these are questions you should be asking yourself. How long has the league been in existence? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't join a startup league. I joined a startup league, was there for their very first race, and it's got some great guys in it. I have formed some incredible friendships there. The racing has been good. But anybody in that group would tell you we've had some growing pains too. So just know that if it's a startup league, you're going to have a little bit of patience, and they're going to hit some things that they weren't anticipating or something, and there might be a couple of bumps in the road. But it gives you a chance to get in on the ground floor, something that could be spectacular. Leagues that have been around longer have kind of usually got a little more experience under their belt and kind of know how they want to handle things and run things. Um, Next question though is, how long have most of the guys been in the league? Okay. And if you have 20 guys in the league and find out that 18 of them were not there last year, then you got to ask yourself, why is there such high turnover? If you've got a group and say there's 15 people that have been there for 3 seasons plus, then you know you've got a core group of guys that have been together a while, and the league must be running well. They must be happy with it, or they would have left and gone somewhere else. So if you see a league that's got a really, really high turnover rate, you might want to be skeptical of why so many people are leaving that league. Next one I would be asking is, how many penalties were they handed out last year? And it's not just penalties, maybe it is warnings or suspensions or probations, or who did they kick out of the league? And if they say they didn't hand out any penalties last year, or they had no suspensions or probations, unless they have just got a group of guys that have been together for a long time, then that's kind of a sign that maybe they are looking the I would shouldn't say looking the other way. Maybe they're being too lenient on the rough driving and stuff, because if you have a league where you got 20 guys and nobody did anything wrong all season long, I'd find that pretty hard to believe. Even the best leagues will have things where somebody gets a penalty for something, or gets a warning or a probation. But if they say they didn't hand out anything, I'd be really concerned about how strict they are being with rule enforcement and how much they are enforcing good, clean racing. Another question I'd ask is, who won the most races last year and how many different winners were there? If the league owner tells you he won 80% of the races last year and one other guy won the others, then you've probably got a league owner who's just formed a league where he doesn't want any competition and he wants to win races, and it's not really a competitive league. If you hear something where they say we had 7 different winners last year and nobody won more than 3 or 4 times, then you've got a lot of parity and good competition there. So ask these questions and listen to the answer. And it's not necessarily that there's a right or wrong answer, or I shouldn't say there's not. There's not necessarily a right answer, but there are definitely some things that could be wrong answers. But these are some of the questions I would ask before I got into the league. Um, Lastly, I would say here's the questions you ask yourself and say, does it feel like a good fit? Are these people that you could become friends with, that you would enjoy spending a few hours a week with racing? Is this what I am looking for? Did any red flags pop up during the process of kind of asking these other questions and checking out the league? And finally, ask, what do I want out of the league? If you are a highly competitive and highly skilled racer and you want to test yourself against the best competition out there, then that's something very different than somebody who's saying, man, I just got into this and I'd really like to run with in a league, but I need people to help me and I want to get better and I'm still learning the game. That's somebody who's at a completely different spectrum as far as what they want out of a league. If you just want to say, hey, I just want to spend some time online with some people that I get along with and I want to have some laughs and good times and I'm not that concerned with whether I win or lose, then that's somewhere, another different spot. But what do you want to get out of a league? And think about that as you're thinking about what you want to do to go in it. Um, I see a lot of posts on Facebook where somebody is out there and they're saying, "Don't let this guy in your league. He's complete trash, or he's going to give you problems or something." And I hate seeing that because there's always two sides to every story. At the same time, I hate seeing people go out and bash a league and saying the owner did this and somebody was unfair to me and whatever. I hate seeing that too, because again, that's there's always two sides to a story. The thing that amazes me the most though is I see somebody go out there and they're bashing the league that they just left or got kicked out of, and in the comments you see 2 or 3 people inviting them into their league, and I'm like, what are you league owners thinking when you're doing that? Because if it doesn't go well, the guy's going to go bash you because he just did it to the league he came out of. And aren't you a little bit concerned that there might be a reason that he left that league or was asked to leave? That maybe you ought to check the person out a little bit before you invite him into your league, which goes back to my point of the number one thing I think is there a tryout process? And if you don't have a tryout process to get into the league, that would concern me greatly. But anyway, this has been kind of a long video. I hope this helps primarily anybody looking for a league, but also helps anybody who is running a league or thinking about running a league. But this is the stuff that I would look at. I've checked out a lot of leagues. I've been in leagues that are everything from ultra competitive to a small group of hand-picked people to startup leagues, and quite honestly, most of it has worked out pretty well. But they're very different leagues, and I think you got to ask yourself what you're looking for in a league and what you want to put into it and what you want to get out of it. But hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it's not a setup video, but I think it was something that could be useful to people. And I will end this like I do the setup videos by telling you guys have a great day. Please give me some feedback if there's other topics you'd like to see besides setups, and I'll try to do videos on them if I feel like I have anything valuable to say. And with that, have a great day, and thank you guys for watching.